You're listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
Woo! What's going on, bro? How you feeling, man?
Hey, I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling Bears-tastic. How about you, Jay?
That's closer to, there's another word they use, not Bears-tastic. It rhymes with Nas-tastic, Has-tastic,
I don't think that's, I don't think that.
It's one of them tastics that we can't really pronounce right now.
All right. Are you ready to start the show?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's get ready to start the show.
Oh, it's hot, baby. Hot. Woo! Hot fire.
Okay, so let's talk about some hot fire. You know who it is. You know what it is. It's The Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television. We are the hottest talk in the 219. We are the hottest talk in the region and the world as we know it. So, Jay, okay, let's get ready to talk about the Bears. Let's talk about the Bears getting ready to make some draft picks.
So, got hot fire coming with that one.
Yeah, got some hot fire. The Bears got awarded 2 compensatory picks, 220 and 227 in the 6th round.
That's it.
So now the Bears have 8 picks to do maybe absolutely nothing with or make hay and do something special. So, Jay, let's look at it very quickly with the 20th overall pick.
Yeah.
Jay, Kevin, you're on the clock now. Where do you go if you're the Bears with the 20th pick?
Look, Virginia has this big offensive tackle, this huge offensive tackle over there that I think the Bears, if I could find his name in my notes, because he's looking great in his Virginia outfit. Give me a second. I'm going to find him. So how's the weather out there today? Isn't it wonderful?
The weather is so good that the Bears even decided to sign their kicker to a 5-year deal. Yeah, 5-year deal, giving him somewhere around $3 million a year. So, I mean, it's going to be really special that Santos is now with the Bears. Sad that they traded a 7th round pick for a kicker who's no longer here. But, that's just the way things go.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and then when you're talking about the Bears, that's the way things go. They just decided, hey, you don't need anybody. But, okay. So while Jay's trying to figure out his pick.
I got it.
I've got a wild card pick for him. But, okay, since you've got it, let's talk about it.
I can remember this kid's name. That's Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech.
Okay.
He's a big, rangy kid playing left tackle for you. He's got good feet. He's going to be there. He's a flight tackle, not a top flight tackle. I mean, those guys are going to go early, but he's a guy you could drop him in on that side and he'll be serviceable for you for a lot of years. And I think serviceable is a word that the Bears need to have on their offensive line because they have some unserviceable offensive linemen playing right now.
Well, you got rid of your right tackle and a cost-cutting move. Probably you're going to get rid of your left tackle soon. So they probably will need some tackles to fill that void. And they like versatile players. But my wild card, if there's one person still on the board, I'm going after quarterback Trey Lance of North Dakota State. I think if there's one player who can give you as close to, if he can't give you
for the 20th pick?
Oh yeah. I'm right now I'm putting everything on the board. So right now I'm giving you a Mahomes pick.
Wow.
I'm giving you the kid who's going to be Mahomes light. He may not have Jake from State Farm, but he's going to be like it. It's going to be like his body double. And I think that kid is Trey Lance. I think he's an exceptional prospect. And right now, you got nothing else to lose except getting him killed with an offensive line.
You know how terrible this is right now with the Bears. I mean, really, you're throwing crap up on the wall and trying to see if something's going to stick. This is just how bad it is. I mean, these are complete shots in the dark. Complete shots in the dark. Look how many of these kids, these can't miss prospects, that came out throughout the course of all these years and playing in the NFL, and they don't even make the rosters. You know, and so this is another. These are once you get to playing in the NFL, it's a whole different ball game. These top 64 quarterbacks that play in the league, these guys are all special, and each one of these guys, the Trey Lances of the world, the kid from BYU, all these other type of people think, oh man, they're going to have a great shot at making it. But there's a reason why Trey Lance went to, what school was that? North Dakota State?
Yeah.
It's the reason why he's there.
Well, okay, let's talk about the fact that you have Christian Darrisaw, Stanford's Walker Little, or Tavon Jenkins from Oklahoma State. Okay, let's throw that out there. Darrisaw, he was a 3-year starter.
Yeah. Good feet.
Serviceable.
Yeah, he doesn't maul. He doesn't maul, though. That's the biggest problem. He's a big guy that doesn't maul. But the NFL, we found out we haven't seen really dominant offensive linemen in a long time. I mean, there's very few Larry Allens out there in the world. You know, we don't see guys who just maul people and just crush them into the ground on a regular basis. However, Tampa Bay's center, he was doing that pretty well for him. But beyond that, you don't see, especially at these tackle positions anymore, because you got to be a dancer out here to play out here at these left tackles now. You got to be able to move your feet. And moving your feet and mauling somebody, those aren't two things that go together. So you got to be able to be a dancer out there. Look what you see, these big, tall, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" guys playing on the outside. They can move their feet. They're long, and they keep these edge rushers off these quarterbacks. So I don't think you really need to see the super aggressive guys out there playing left tackle. Can they move their feet and stay in front of somebody?
Well, that's the good question. And again, now that's my question with Darrisaw. He had a massive knee injury in 2019, which ended his season. And I'm just not a big fan of getting ready to draft a left tackle with a bad knee already.
Yeah.
I mean, now if you get hurt in the field of play when you're in the NFL, that's one thing. But if I already know that you're used goods coming in,
well, the Bears thought that same way. That's why they didn't get Deshaun Watson when they had an opportunity to take him.
Yeah.
And we see how that worked out.
Yeah. It worked out so well that you actually now want to go get him again.
And pay big money. Big money for him.
Right.
And knee looks pretty good right now, don't it?
So, all right. I'm looking at right now a mock draft, which let's look around the 19th, 20th, 21st pick, somewhere in there. I mean, right now, when you're looking at someone, I mean, you've got, again, Tevin Jenkins. You've got Jalen Mayfield from Michigan. You've got Tucker from USC. Now, he's an interesting prospect because he's multifaceted. And, the Bears love cats that don't play one position well. So they may pick him because he's a guard and a tackle. But there are two names out here, man, that interest me, that when you look down at the bottom of the draft. And number one is Gregory Rousseau, edge rusher from Miami. And then the one that really piques my interest at this point is defensive tackle or defense. They have him as a D lineman, but nose guard, and that would be Christian Barmore from Alabama.
Yeah.
Now, you know how I felt. I felt that the person from Alabama that you should be going to get is Leatherwood.
Yeah.
If there's one pro prospect I've seen, now they say he's not fleet of foot, he's not really a mauler. Lies and garbage. I saw him mauling people all night. Maybe he's too much of a mauler. He might be a brawler mauler where he just grabs you and won't stop. But Jay, I'm wondering, I know we keep talking about the line, offensive line, but if you have a chance to get a replacement, because you're going to have to do something with Akeem Hicks at some point.
Well,
so,
yeah, he's long in the tooth right now. I think
I think isn't Akeem Hicks like 32?
Yeah,
there?
And I think he's going to be a casualty too. I think he's not going to be with the Bears this year.
So especially with that as a given, do you look at a Christian Barmore as maybe a lineman replacement. We're still talking about the line, but is he going to be a better fit if you can't find a top flight offensive lineman?
I think first and foremost it's got to be offensive line. I think you need to go offensive line. That's what I think you need to do. Defensive line wise, I hate to say it, but unless you're Akeem Hicks, you can find guys who are going to fill that middle up for you. The biggest problem the Bears have right now is that you just don't have a guy attacking from off the edge, because Robert Quinn apparently is not that guy. And so until you get an edge rusher, if you get an edge rusher, that makes those guys have to defend that outside edge. It means you got to keep a running back in to help their tackle catch a little bit of that block before he gets out. That little extra half a second makes a big difference. And it can make a big difference to an interior lineman now going one-on-one with the guard instead of going two-on-one with the guard center, because the defensive end is easily covered up. So a lot of it has to be depend on those edge rushers, and they get to find something there. But I'm not super concerned about the Bears' interior defensive line, because I don't think it's really going to matter in the long term if they don't shore up this offensive line. You can have a really good defense like the Bears have for the last 3 years, and it hasn't mattered.
Okay, but what if there is that edge rusher? I mean, because at the back of this seems to be a loaded class of edge rushers in that first round, because some of the mock drafts I've looked at, Darshaw's being already gone. He wasn't even on the board by the time 20th rolled around. That's where you get this Mac Jones thing, because even I said it with Trey Lance, but a lot of the earlier returns have said Trey Lance isn't going to be there by 20. So if I'm looking at between a okay offensive lineman that I may be able to get comparable talent in the second, and I'm looking at an edge rusher, someone maybe an outside linebacker or a true edge rusher, is that going to tip that? Is that tipping the scale for me? Is that the tipping point to say, if I can find a good edge rusher that I can lock up for a while, and that Ryan Pace has an affinity for edge rushers, good, bad, or indifferent, he likes edge rushers. Would he make that move then to say, I have a once-in-a-lifetime edge rusher that I can get at the back end of the draft? Would he do that over an offensive lineman?
Yeah, he would do it if that's what he thought, but, who cares what he thinks at this point? I mean,
I don't care what he thinks. He's the person making the picks.
And what a fine job he has done.
Yeah, well, I can't.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, those picks you might as well roll the dice on those picks down there. I mean, every once in a while you get a Tom Brady at 199, but we're picking 21 picks past that in our compensatory draft picks. So, I mean, I just think with this 20th pick, you have to go offensive line, and you got to figure out how you can go offensive line again if you can. Because you haven't really seen big free agency moves coming to the Bears with the offensive line, because they don't have the draft capital, number one, to give away, and they don't have the young talent that's still on their rookie deals that they can get away with. They just don't have it. So the Bears are really in football hell right now. They need what they can get,
Yeah. But again, I'm just wondering if Darrisaw is going to be there. And if he's not there,
then who?
Then we get really thin. The only person I can think of is probably, again, as I said, Tucker, Vieira Tucker. He's an option. He's a guard, and he's probably going to grade out better as a guard. And if that's the case, then you're already stacked up at guards that aren't great. So, I mean, you're just going to throw in another a meh guard. And again, as you said, when you're that far down, here's my theory. When you're that far down, if you're not at 29 to 31, 29 to 31, you can get that value pick because you get the guy that would have been picked in the second round, but you get to jump on him first. You can develop him, and then maybe he becomes something. But when you're the Bears and you have to start this person, or he has to compete, he has to come in first day of camp pushing that starter. I don't know if you can find that starter at the 20th pick.
And maybe he's not there. And if that's the case, then the Bears are still more screwed than they were before.
Yeah.
And now I've gotten depressed, and I just bought a whole new thing of Oreos. They had them at Aldi's, a whole thing of Oreos. Family pack.
That sounds good right about now.
Good Lord have mercy.
Some Oreos and some almond milk.
Oh, and I got both of them fresh too. Could be a plan, sir.
Yeah, that sounds like food porn. And right now, I could do an Oreo orgy right now.
Wow.
Well, you take it off, and then you lick on one side, then you lick on the other side, and you put it back together, and you lick both of them.
We're a PG type of show, so let me start playing their show closing. Let's have that little.
Well, no, we're talking about cookies now. You're talking about you take the Oreo, and you take one side of the Oreo, and then you pull it apart. Now you've got to lick it because you got to stick it back together. So you've got to put both of those pieces back in. So the only way they're going to really stick tight is that you got to lick both of them.
I think you broke my show music.
Well, okay, well, fine. I'm just saying this is the way to move forward when it comes. Yeah, well, all right. Well, fine. Well, you know what? You're listening to The Sizzle here on Iron Skillet Radio, Iron Skillet Television.
He's got food porn going on over there.
Listen, if you haven't subscribed, liked, and shared, please feel free to do so. Hit the button. We appreciate you coming by, spending some time with us. You can always find us on any platform at Iron Skillet Sports. Hashtag Iron Skillet 219. Look for us. We are there. You can find us. We are The Sizzle, the talk of the 219, the hottest talk in the 219, the hottest talk anywhere. And we will see you on the other side.